bishop versus nun battle gets bigger. Accused of raping a nun for 3 years, Bishop Franco Mullakkal still roams scot-free. Meanwhile, the survivor nun has written 3 letters to the Vatican demanding its intervention against the accused bishop, alleging that the bishop is using money to cover up the incident. Her tireless fight for justice is now getting support. Since the last 5 days, nuns from a convent in Kottayam have been protesting against rape-accused Bishop Franco Mullakkal. Their allegation, the bishop is being shielded.
To win their part, they will make such kind of allegations. We don't know what action they are going to take. Whatever it may be, we are ready to face.
They know the truth. They know that my sister is raped, and they are not supporting. They are simply supporting Bishop Franco.
But the Missionaries of Jesus, which is headed by Bishop Franco himself, has issued a statement blaming the survivor nun. The statement also calls the protesting nuns liars. Hours after the statement, the rape-accused Bishop Franco Mullakkal also broke his silence. Speaking for the first time on the issue, he alleged that he is being framed and called all charges baseless.
ये तो एक साजिश है, कॉन्स्पिरेसी है. बहुत सारे लोग अभी उसमें आके उसका फायदा उठाने का कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
With the case getting murkier with every passing day, Mirror now asks, despite rape charges against the bishop, why is the church still shielding Bishop Franco Mullakkal? Why isn't the state and police taking any action? Let's debate.
Well, the Catholic Church in India has dealt with this problem in the most shocking and callous fashion. Let's put our cards on the table. You received a complaint months ago. We understand now from a letter that the victim has written to the Catholic Church, to the Pope even, that she began complaining about this so-called bishop over a year ago. In June last year was when she sent out the first complaint. She wrote to 10 different people of power within the church, all of whom ignored her. She only approached the police after she had exhausted all of these various options. Even today, the church maintains a stony silence about what is going on. The sources within the church whom we have spoken to have told us things like, let the investigation finish, let the law take its course. If you wanted the law to take its course, first of all, to the Catholic Church, you should have removed this bishop from his position of power. He remains in a position of power even today over the very nuns who are protesting and accusing him of sexual misconduct. You would have initiated an internal investigation against him, which has not been done. And you would have brought in the police yourselves, which you did not do. There is no evidence on the table right now, a year into this entire problem, that the Catholic Church is at all on the side of the women who are complaining. You seem to be protecting your own. And even today, after repeated attempts from this channel to get in touch with the church for an official comment, we received no official comment. Your silence is complicit. If you are not willing to stand with the women who are in your care, why should anybody trust you? Why should anybody trust the Catholic Church in India? The second set of answers we deserve this evening is from the Kerala government and the police. 3 months have passed since this complaint first came in, and no arrest has been made, no questioning has taken place, and the investigation is moving at a snail's pace, to say the very least. Is the church influencing the state of Kerala? Why is the police going easy on this man? Religion or no religion, it doesn't matter what you wear, who you are. An accusation of rape should be dealt with in exact same manner by the law. The law knows no religion. And in this particular case, the Kerala government and the Kerala police seems like it is being influenced. And they're going to have to answer us as to why. Joining me on the show, Abraham Mathai, president of the Indian Christians' Voice. Rahul Ishwar is a social activist. Ragmalika Karthikeyan is the Deputy News Editor of News Minute, who's been tracking the story on the ground. Dr. Kuruchrani Abraham is the National Convener of the Indian Christian Women's Movement. Dinesh Varsni is the leader with the CPI, bringing in the view of the government of Kerala. Vikram Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh. Dr. Astrid Lobo Gajiwala is a member of the core team of the Council for Women in the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India. And we also have joining us on this conversation Father Dinesh Das of the Baptist Church of Karol Bagh, who will join us through the course of the conversation. We'll patch in voices who were insiders in this entire process as well. Opening statements from all of my guests, beginning with Dr. Astrid Lobo. By its stony silence, is the Catholic Church protecting the bishop in this case?
Well, I must admit we have made many attempts to get some kind of response from the bishops. We have sent out statements starting with Pope Francis, the Apostolic Nuncio, and the President of the CBCI and CCBI. And the answer we have always got is, at least in India, is that the bishops are helpless, they are powerless, they cannot take action against another fellow bishop, and the only person who can do that is the Apostolic Nuncio, who is the representative of the Vatican.
But so, I understand that the Nuncio has also received letters over a year ago and done absolutely nothing.
Exactly. So that's exactly what we are asking, and in fact we really asked for just two things. Nobody talked about whether Franco was innocent or guilty. What we just said was, can you please ask him to step down from office so that the investigation can go on and he cannot use his power or his resources to influence the investigation, which happens in any company.
Simple Vishaka guidelines
absolutely
need to be followed.
And the second thing is, we said that please have an ecclesiastical inquiry, because I think it's very important to remember that there is a difference, at least where the church is concerned, that there is a difference between a sin and a crime. So when we look at the crime, we are looking for legal action, and at the end of it you will decide whether the bishop will go to jail or not. But when we are looking at the church, we're also looking at the moral issue. And the moral issue is where the sin comes in. And then the whole aspect is, does he remain as a bishop or not? So that's a completely different investigation. And it has to happen, even if the police investigation is happening.
I'm not going to get into the moral, argument here, because I don't believe we have any place. Morality for me personally is between the bishop and his God. And that is a question he will have to answer on his own. Let's just deal with the law here. The law is very clear. The law sees no religion and makes absolutely no difference as to whether you're a bishop or you're a regular guy or you're a politician. If you've been accused of rape, there ought to be an investigation. And there has not been one here. And the Catholic Church must take responsibility for the fact that they didn't go to the police themselves, which should have been the first thing. As soon as you received a complaint from all of these people, and I have a list here of over 20 people in the Catholic Church, people in positions of power, who received these complaints and did nothing. What should these people have done? Gone to the police themselves. Because if they're going to call her sister, and if your sister has complained that she has been raped, what is your responsibility? Go to the police and help her file a complaint, and not gag her and scuttle whatever investigation is going to begin. Right now we have an insider on the phone line, someone from inside the church, not a layperson, but a member of the system. I'm just going to refer to you as an insider because I don't want to give out your name at this point, but this is a very senior individual. Do you believe at this point, as a sister yourself, that the church is taking the side of the men, the bishops, and not of the women who are in its custody?
We are really pained and saddened at the complacency of the church. The church is supposed to be the forerunner, to be the voice. We are just wondering why the church has gone into silence, and it is really deafening. And as a fellow sister, I feel very much with the victim who is fighting a lone battle seeking for justice. I mean, did she have to reach to this day to ask for justice? When the church, her very own church, whom she offered her life, should have come out in complete compassion and solidarity for her.
Sister, tell me this. You're familiar with the case, you're familiar with this particular house, and you're familiar with this particular bishop. From your tracking of this case, how long has it been since the complaint first came up? And do you believe that the church has made any sort of an attempt at all in acknowledging this complaint? Do you believe that there might be other cases like this?
Well, I'm not aware of other cases, but certainly in this particular one, it has been a long time, nearly over a year, that the sister has gone from door to door, seeking help, seeking for justice, but she received nothing from the church authorities. And therefore, as a last resort, when her patience ran out, I mean, all of us know, seated on the panel, as well as all women outside, would understand how difficult it is for a rape survivor, for a rape victim, to take the courage and to do what she is doing right now.
Sister, we understand that the survivor wrote multiple letters to various sinners, starting from the parish priest, going straight up to Pope Francis. Have you seen any of these letters? Can you tell us that these letters have actually gone through?
Yes, I have seen these letters. And I know that they have gone through to a number of people in the church who matter.
Have the letters received any acknowledgement or any response?
At least I have not received any information on that count that the sister has received any reply of any form.
Well, off-record comments from official members of the church have said that we want the investigation to complete. We will not comment at this point. Do you believe that the silence of the church at this point is shielding the accused?
Well, the silence of the church is certainly deafening. The least what we all know, and I think one of the panelists already mentioned, that in society, anyone who has been accused, the normal thing would have been an order to step aside, and that is what the church should have seen, so that there's a fair, free, and impartial investigation in the matter.
Do you believe, sister, that the women of the church right now are in need of protection? Are the nuns living in fear?
Yes, they definitely need a lot of protection, because there seems to be some kind of pressure that is mounting on them. They have received threats, and there is something or the other happening to them every other day, and they definitely need to be protected.
And sister, I want your help in understanding this. We've received multiple press releases from the Missionaries of Jesus. Now, the Missionaries of Jesus is the house from which these complaints have come out and is headed by the accused. How is this different from other convents?
Well, in this particular congregation, as the Missionaries of Jesus, is a diocesan order, and it was founded by the previous bishop and continued by the bishops who came thereafter. So the bishop, the current bishop, the accused bishop, is the patron of this order.
And what does that mean? What does patron mean? What does patron mean?
He is the authority, and seemingly he has a say in everything that happens for this particular order.
And do you believe he's exercising his position of power to take advantage of the women who are in his care?
I definitely see there is an unequal aspect of power between the authority and the subordinates.
And sister, my last question to you, and I'm reading out of the letter of the victim here, where she has said one of the things we need to question is that priests and bishops are allowed to spend nights in convents even when they have other facilities like parish houses and pastoral centers and the like. Do you believe that this is a problematic situation that should be stopped?
Well, in the light of what has happened of this particular case, definitely yes. There are places where they can always avail those facilities, so that, the sisters are not subjected to any kind of exploitation of this kind.
And you are still anonymous on the phone line. We don't know your name. Here's the question to you. Do you believe in your long career right now as a member of the Catholic Church that there have been instances of exploitation or discomfort for nuns who are part of the church?
At times, I have come across instances or stories by some other members where they have faced some kind of discomfort.
All right, sister, thank you very much for joining us on the phone line. A sister on the phone line right now, and I must remind our viewers, a very senior sister who has taken the brave step of coming onto national television and telling us what the truth is. I'm going to open this up to the panel. The question is very simple. The Kerala government has dragged its feet, and the church at this point has a lot to answer for. Where do we start? Mr. Vikram Singh, you first. Is it at all understandable that the police have not made an arrest yet, 3 months in?
Faye, good evening. I would rather place on record that everybody has failed the poor survivor. First, Bishop Franco. Second, the investigators. Although I'm given to understand that the witnesses are being influenced and arm twisting exercises are on to prevail upon them. No statement under 164 CRPC has been recorded, and what to say, in spite of taking the statements of the survivor 6 times, the bishop has not been questioned thoroughly and he has not been put behind bars. The law mandates that the statement of the prosecutrix is sufficient reason to put the accused behind bars. I see no reason why he has not been arrested till now, and this is the failing of the government also. That they seem to be indulging in vote bank politics. They don't have it in them to touch the bishop, although he happens to be an accused of a horrific crime.
Yes, Dinesh Varshney, leader CPI. Why is the Kerala government looking at this as a vote bank? Don't you think 50% women in your state are vote banks? Don't you believe that these nuns are people who need to be protected? Why has there no arrest been made?
We are with the nun. And don't worry, everything will be decided by next 2-3 days when the inquiry will be over. And whatever the internal matter of church is there, that church has to decide. We always defend the dignity of women.
Why? Why does the church have to decide? Is what happens inside the church is not happening in the country? Women don't have rights inside the church? Is it not on Indian soil? What do you mean the church will decide?
No. Look. I am saying because the church have their own mechanism.
I don't care about the church's mechanism. The church's mechanism is not the... No, you can throw him in jail. You have not arrested him.
Can I ask any temple priest or any Maulvi, can I ask any religious institution to please remove him or remove her?
I'm not asking you to remove him. I'm asking you to arrest him. Present him before a magistrate. Question him.
We are duty bound.
No, you are not duty. You are not doing anything. Mr. Varshney, why hasn't he been arrested?
We are doing. No.
3 months?
No, we are doing. We have interrogated the father.
No, you have not.
Not 3 months. 77 days ago, she has given a complaint. In the meanwhile, the Kerala flood has happened, and entire machinery from PM to Minister and CM were involved in the relief.
So that's why you want to blame it on the floods.
This matter has come in the court.
Very bad. Very bad. I'm sorry, I don't accept that. One second. Hold on. Mr. Vikram Singh, questioning and interrogation, can it happen without taking the person into custody?
We accept.
1 second. Can it happen without taking the person into custody, Mr. Singh? He says they have interrogated him.
Absolutely, Faye. For once, this is not sufficient. This is too little coming too late. And for once, Dr. Dinesh Varshney is so very unconvincing. The fact remains, as per law, if the prosecutrix and the survivor says that such a thing happened, the police and the investigators have no option but to arrest Bishop Franco, and whatever the church may do, that can follow subsequently. But the immediate requirement of law, procedure and propriety is that Franco should be behind bars. And the earlier you do it, the better for the government and the police's credibility. The credibility of the police at this point of time is at an all-time low. Not arresting the accused because he seems to be highly placed. The fact remains that he has defiled the hallowed grounds of the church and has besmirched the reputation of the church and the high office that he holds. All the more reason that one has to be given and dispensed with justice and propriety and the requirements of law on a fast-forward mode. and nothing else would that he should be arrested in the next 24 hours.
Ragamalika
Dr. Dinesh Varshney ji,
Karthikeyan.
one would expected a lot more from you and your government rather than beat around the bush like everybody else.
Absolutely, and look at the evidence right now. When
Because
someone
see, you
files
will
a
appreciate
complaint
the
of rape, you are supposed to pick up the accused
Because
immediately,
see,
question them and present them before a magistrate. You have done nothing of the sort. 3 months later, or 77 days precisely according to you, you're blaming the Kerala floods. How long do the Kerala floods continue for? That you are now using it as an excuse. What happened to
You
the
know
40
from
days
the-
before the floods?
No,
Why
I
didn't you
know,
arrest him and present him before the magistrate?
I myself is accepting a fact there is an inordinate delay in taking the inquiry into
do
the
you
logical
realize,
conclusion
Mr.
or whatever it is
Miss-
there.
Miss Dr.
Now the
Varshney.
government of Kerala is size of the matter and they are taking a
So you'll only take be seized of the matter after we pick it up. Do you realize, Dr. Varshney, for these last 77 days, you have left the accused within in the power. You have left the victim in the power of the accused. He's exercising power over the evidence. He's exercising power over witnesses.
She was given a complete support by my women organization, our
that
women
true?
organizations. And our women organization has demanded an action. Our women organization has demanded an action against even MLA who has outburst the nonsense.
Who have they demanded action against?
We have
The government.
Our organization is taking.
Please. I have Ragamalika Karthikeyan is the deputy news editor of the News Minute who's been tracking this case from the beginning. Are you buying any of the arguments that have been offered to us by Dr. Varshney of the CPI?
I think it's very interesting that the first thing that he has to say when you talk about the inordinate delay in arresting this person is, oh, it's not been 3 months yet, it's only been 77 days. I mean, is that the first justification that you can offer to the people?
I don't say. I don't
that is the
know.
first
I've
question
been
that I
told.
want to ask. And secondly, it's very clear.
Please continue. Ragamalika, please continue.
And it's very clear. It's a clear case of workplace sexual harassment. Yeah, it's a clear case of workplace sexual harassment. I mean, this person has been creating a hostile work environment for this woman who has complained of rape on multiple occasions. And it's a clear case where the organization must help her approach the police. The organization must help her take it to the court. The organization must help her and not, on the contrary, support the accused, not on the contrary, back the accused. And I mean, Missionaries of Jesus is headed by Bishop Franco, and Bishop Franco has been giving interviews all day today about how he's innocent, about how he is, he's the victim, how he's being victimized. But really the question is, if you are in a position of power,
Yes.
over the survivor, your responsibility, if you are claiming that you are an innocent person, is to first step down.
Yes.
Is to first say that I will not be part of this process while an investigation is happening. For a free and fair investigation to happen, how can he be sitting over there? That's
Yes.
the first question for the church to answer. He cannot be sitting there at the top of the Jalandhar diocese if the investigation has to be fair.
Absolutely.
And secondly, why hasn't he been arrested yet? I mean, 77 days, 13 days short of 3 months, whatever it is still so many months since the survivor has filed a complaint. It has been so many months since she has been writing to so many people.
Absolutely. In fact, let me now bring in Father Dinesh Das of the Church of Karol Bagh. Rahul Ishwar, I know you have a point to make, but I want to bring in Father Dinesh Das. Father Das, the Catholic Church in India is cutting a very sorry picture right now for not being able to protect the nuns that are in your care. Why was nothing done in this case? No investigation, no removal of this individual from his position of power, and no complaint to the police. Why is the Catholic Church protecting Bishop Franco?
देखिए, मैं कैथोलिक चर्च दिल्ली का तो कुछ नहीं कह सकता, बट मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल फादर मुरक्कल फर्स्ट स्टेप डाउन, शुड बी स्टेप डाउन. उनको पहला अपने आप को सरेंडर करना चाहिए. अगर वो सही है तो हमारा विश्वास, हमारा फेथ इंडियन लॉ में है, कानून में है. वो सही होंगे तो इज्जत से उनको वो स्थान दिया जाएगा. अभी हर चीज़ पर उंगली है, हर चीज़ पर लोग बातें कर रहे हैं, बट ये सब चीज़ें चर्च के लिए या कम्युनिटी के लिए अच्छी नहीं है. और हम सब इस बात से चिंतित हैं. और मैं ये समझता हूँ हमारे देश में महिलाओं को बहुत मान और सम्मान दिया जाता है, इज्जत दी जाती है, और अकॉर्डिंग टू बाइबल उसमें भी लेडीज को बड़ा इज्जत और मान दिया गया है। तो उसके लिए कोई भी लड़की, कोई भी लेडी इस बात को नहीं बोलती कि मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ है। अगर उन्होंने बोला है तो ये एक बहुत निंदनीय है जो फादर मोरक्कल, बिशप मोरक्कल के लिए है, और हम उनके साथ खड़े हैं। और हर बात में हम इस बात को कहना चाहते हैं कि अगर अपराध है तो वो अपराधी है, जो चोर करता है
फादर दिनेश दास, ये आप कहना बहुत आसान है कि नहीं, ये कहना बहुत आसान है कि कानून अपना काम करेगा, लेकिन कैथोलिक चर्च को 1 साल पहले की जब बात है, पहले जो कंप्लेंट उनके पास आई थी जून 2017 में, कैथोलिक चर्च को तब कानून को लेके आना था। अगर किसी के पास भी अगर रेप का कंप्लेंट आपके हाथ में आता है तो आपको पुलिस को बोलनी चाहिए। तो आप ये क्या बात कर रहे हो कि कैथोलिक चर्च औरतों को बहुत रिस्पेक्ट करता है? कैसे रिस्पेक्ट करता है आप बताइए? इन्होंने नंसियो को लिखा हुआ है, पोप को लिखा हुआ है, लेकिन एक भी जवाब नहीं निकला।
की बात कर रहा हूँ,
पूरे देश की बात आप मत कीजिए। आप यहाँ कैथोलिक, आप यहाँ चर्च को रिप्रेजेंट करने आए हैं, आप चर्च के बारे में बात कीजिए। चर्च ने इस पे रिएक्शन क्यों नहीं दिया?
हमारे देश में लेडीज, महिलाओं की इज्जत है, रिस्पेक्ट है। मैं कैथोलिक चर्च की अकेले की बात नहीं कर रहा।
नहीं, फादर दिनेश दास, आई हैव नो नीड राइट नाउ टू लिसन टू हाउ women are treated in this country. I am fully aware of the crime numbers of the entire country. I am fully aware of how many rapes take place in this country and how many gang rapes take place in this country. I don't need anybody to sit here on primetime television and tell me this is a country where women are respected greatly. Thank you very much. Abraham Mathai, President of the Indian Christian Voice. Where does the Indian Christian Voice stand, Mr. Mathai, here? With the nun or with the priest?
Of course, with the nun, and this has been happening in the last 2.5 months ever since the FIR was registered. Now let me tell you, Faye, this inquiry, internal inquiry conducted by the missionary of Jesus, those nuns, her superiors, is the biggest sham, because this internal inquiry should have been done 1 year back when she complained. Now the police has registered a complaint, an FIR, and even the High Court is seized with the matter. So this kind of an inquiry, and the result that they said that that the bishop is innocent, and they blame the nun, and they go to that was yesterday, and then today they even go to the extent of saying that this nun is of a she got a bad character, bad moral character. Now you tell me something, how can they even talk of that nun like this? I mean, what kind of example are they showing for the nation to see? And not only that, even this PC George, that MLA, he took a press conference the day before yesterday, and actually he called her a prostitute. I want to know, not a single church leader in Kerala has condemned that statement. Why have they not condemned the statement? I want to say that the police should take action against him. So what if he's an MLA? He is allowed to speak anything in the house, but outside the house,
he's not allowed to say anything of the sort.
If he said something like this, the police can take action against.
Yes, Rahul Ishwar, go ahead, please.
So I don't agree with the internal inquiry.
Two quick points.
That internal
is
inquiry
it not extremely interesting
church,
that when the Kerala floods is only an excuse, and the present bishop is in Jalandhar? The so-called bishop, I would say Mr. Franco, is in Jalandhar, and Kerala floods happen in Kerala. So why is the police, because of Kerala floods, not questioning or interrogating a bishop who is out of Kerala? So these are mere excuses. Kerala government is afraid because of vote bank consideration, and they don't have the courage enough to go against this particular person.
I don't shield the government at all.
Strong CM.
The Kerala police has failed.
Just two lines, sir. Just 2 lines. Let me complete.
I'm repeatedly saying that.
Where is the so-called strong CM? Just 2 lines, sir. Where is the so-called strong CM of Kerala who says he will take many actions so impartially? The real problem is there are very few people.
You are in Kerala, so you should be asking that.
And as rightly said, and as exactly, sir. Let me complete, please. And as rightly said by the earlier speaker, I think many right-thinking Christian community members should come forward and support this. We have one of the oldest churches in the world, and they have a great legacy of supporting our land. This is an unfortunate incident, and more condemnation should be there. And as the earlier speaker rightly said, not even a strong condemnation of the use, the word of the use prostitute, along with a bride of Christ or a very holy figure. It hurts even for believers of other faiths that such spiritual figures are used with such slut-shaming and name calling. So this is unfortunate.
course, I
it is
totally
only
agree.
because of national media.
All right,
taking
all
up
right,
this
all
case.
right, all right.
At least some
Dr.
action is- some
Korchurani
action is being
Abraham,
done on
one
ground.
second, Raulishwar. Dr.
And
Korchurani
Faye-
Abraham
and
is
Faye,
the
let me
national
tell you,
convener.
Faye, let me tell you.
No, one
Faye,
second.
Let me tell you, Kerala has a special place.
Yes, Dr. Mathai and Raul Ishwar, you actually agreed with each other. So,
Faye,
this
Kerala
time.
has a special place in Christianity. No, Kerala has a special place in Christianity because Saint Thomas came to Kerala first, and from there spread the gospel to the whole nation.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
It's such a shame this has happened there.
This had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that this man should have been arrested 3 months ago, and it has not happened. Or the complaint should have been registered by the church a year ago. So, while I find all these stories very interesting, we should focus on the actual crime that has taken place. Dr. Korchurani Abraham, national convener of the Indian Christian Women's Movement. Has the church let us all down?
Yes. Surely. I have absolutely no doubts about it. Because, I think basically the problem is a whole gender question in the church. Where do women stand in the church? Where do women have voice in the church? They are nowhere. So even when women become victims of such severe abuse, their rights, their dignity, their integrity is not respected. They don't count. That's a basic problem. If women really counted as persons, as human persons in the church, would this happen? Would this happen in a family? If your daughter is abused, will the father keep quiet? Are the women treated as daughters of the church? For me, that's a very, very painful question, which the Catholic Church in India has to answer. I visited the survivor's sister. Listening to her, I spent 5 hours that day. Listening to her, I wanted to stay there, seeing their powerlessness, seeing their fears. It's very, very painful. And the whole drama that has unfolded, as Astrid Lober mentioned earlier, Indian Christian Women's Movement were the first ones. On the 15th of July, we posted this letter to the nuncio, to the CBCA president, and in very, very respectful words, asking them, please relieve him of his pastoral responsibilities. We got the signature of 178 persons, theologians, activists, academics, pleading, and we felt it was extremely important to safeguard the integrity of the church and also to allow the process of investigation to go on.
Well, Dr. Abraham, if you spent time with the victim, forgive me for interrupting.
We did not even receive.
If you've spent time with the victim since this entire complaint came to light, what sort of treatment has the victim and her sisters in that order received from the church, from the community, and from this bishop? Because we have to keep reminding our viewers that he's still in charge of them.
Faye, this is very shameful.
The sisters have been
in the way that the church leadership has taken this matter.
No, I'm sorry. My question is to Dr. Korchurani, please.
No, I'm telling you, even when an MLA like PC George.
Yeah. See.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. Dr. Korchurani, go ahead.
The sisters in that community have been completely alienated. Yes, they have been completely alienated. Okay. And very many people, nobody wanted to approach them because nobody believes them. Nobody believes that they have truth. I was so much pained because we wanted sisters to come out, into the public for the protest. I called so many sisters. Everybody is frightened because they are members of the church. They don't want to be seen. Another congregation, sisters who came now into the street, they have been warned by the congregational authorities. And this community has been totally alienated. Without visit, in that recent letter that has come out from the survivor, she has mentioned clearly the priests have stopped going for Eucharist there. People think, lot of communities, lot of, rumors go around, so much of character assassination of that sister. And who has bothered to go and speak to her? We wanted, we wanted to request CBCI to set up a commission, but nobody gave us a hearing. Okay.
We've been trying
in
to
the end,
call
on the
Cardinal
14th of August, when
Gracious,
delegation of ICWM met.
Yes. We've been trying to call Cardinal Oswald Gracious, who is the CBCI president in India, who's currently in Rome, but is not responding to us.
So,
yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, you introduced me as a member of
Just one second, Dr. Kochirani, this is my question to Dr. Astrid. You are a member of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India, the CBCI.
Well, I'm a member of the core team of the Council for Women. And I must say with great shame that there has been no statement forthcoming from the Council. I have tried to, push this matter and to find out what is happening, but there has been a lot of silence on that part. So my activity or my action has really been because I'm also a member of the national team of the Indian Christian Women's Movement, like Kochurani, and actually all my...
So the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India has a council for women that they pay no attention to.
And can I just say something more, that just last year in 2017, okay, the bishops brought out a policy, guidelines, okay, which are based on the act for which addresses sexual harassment in the workplace. And so we have a policy which has been brought out by the bishops, which talks of how to deal with sexual harassment in the workplace. And the thing is, it just doesn't seem to apply to the bishop, So it's supposed to be for everybody else, but not for the bishop.
So these men will stand up on a pulpit and tell us how to live our lives, but no law, no rule applies to them. Nobody can question them, and they don't find themselves in a position where they need to offer answers to anyone. They're not answerable to anyone.
Yes.
Who are these people?
So there are rules which are there in the church, like I started by saying in the beginning, that the only person who can take action against a bishop is the nuncio. Okay, so you can have all your policies in the world and you can have all your structures and all your councils, but the bishops are above them.
Well, I want to remind our viewers, the nuncio is a sort of an ambassador to the country from the Vatican, so from Rome. So this person, so every country has one, and the victim in this case has written to this nuncio repeatedly and received no response. She has even at one point sent a courier so she can get a verification that the courier has been received, and she has a verification but received no response whatsoever. I think it's beyond a shadow of doubt. And I also want to point out to you, when I got in touch with the CBCI, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, they told me this is not in our jurisdiction, so we cannot comment. So how convenient that you wrote laws for yourself that doesn't allow you to comment. But let's go back now to the government. Dr. Varshney, what action has the government in Kerala taken against the MLA who called this victim a prostitute?
Exactly.
Very true.
Dr. Dinesh Varshney, what action has the government in Kerala taken against the MLA who called the victim of rape a prostitute?
Action will be taken, Faye, don't worry. Kindly
you keep telling me to not worry. It seems like the Kerala government's only concern is my worry lines. Don't worry, I worry all the time. That's not the concern. Why haven't you already taken action?
TV channel, I have spoken to comrades in Kerala. I have spoken to the comrades in Kerala before coming to you, and there are means and ways to communicate the government. We have communicated. The action will be taken. We have communicated. The Communist Party of India has communicated.
Can I point out one thing? Yes. Not even an outright condemnation has come. Not even an outright condemnation has come from the comrades in Kerala.
No. We have condemned.
The speaker has never issued a censure. Nobody has even come out with a outright condemnation because everybody is afraid of vote banks. That's the reality. That's the elephant in the room.
No, the Communist Party don't do a religious vote bank politics. It is a prerogative of RSS and other bourgeois parties.
No, hang on. So why would your MLA... One second. So if you're saying that, why would your MLA
He's not our MLA. He is an independent MLA, Baba. He is not an MLA of the left front. He is an independent MLA, please. So, left front, if he could have been a left front MLA, he could have been disciplinized within a minute.
So what action will you take? You said
He is a
action will be
legislator of the
taken.
independent nature.
You said action will be taken. What action will be taken?
You know there is a particular procedure in police for an action against legislator. There is a particular procedure.
Mr. Vikram Singh.
It stands same for MP and it states same for MLA.
Mr. Vikram Singh, what action should be
The
taken?
procedure is very clear. Faye,
He's
Yes.
not telling the truth.
let me.
He's got immunity.
No member of the legislature is a holy cow. Dr. Dinesh Washre, no member of the legislature is a holy cow, and there is no immunity given to them. Register a case under
Vikram Singh ji, you
Indecent
know that when
Representation
we
of
can
Women's
take
Act
action against
under
our
the Indian
chairman, we
Penal
can
Code, then
take
why
action against anyone.
case has not been registered? Then
Mr. Singh, go ahead, please.
actions speak louder
We
than
have
words. Sir. Dr.
demanded
Vashne,
an
register a
action
case
against
first
the
under
MLA.
Indecent Representation of Women's Act
National
and
Federation of
under the
Indian
Indian
Women
Penal
Chair,
Code. Don't
General
demand.
Secretary
Take
Corporate
action,
Anil
Dr.
Rajah also
Vashne,
demanding an
and
action
instead of
against
casting
an MLA.
aspersions on here and
No,
there
no,
and
one
thinking
second.
about the wood.
So one second, Mr. Varshney, this is not one of those debates, Mr. Varshney. First of all, one second. Mr. Varshney, stop screaming. Nobody. Mr. Varshney, stop screaming.
An action against the MLA.
Stop screaming. Nobody is impressed. Now, Mr. Vikram Singh, it is against the law in our country to shame and insult the victim of rape. There's a law against it under the Nirbhaya laws.
Absolutely.
What
fair.
action should be taken against this MLA?
No amount of screaming and shouting can give me logical consistency. The fact remains that a case under Indecent Representations of Women's Act under the Indian Penal Code, Section 354A, has to be registered against PC George. And when he is arrested, the only thing that is mandatory for the police is to intimate it to the Speaker that the so-called Honorable MLA has been arrested and put behind bars. That is the only requirement. It is not rocket science that you have to arrest an MLA or a minister. This is why we make them holy cows and then say that since he's an MLA, he's a minister, we can do nothing about it. For too long have we sat in silence listening to the nonsense of the politicians. If you are politicians, one would expect that you have to be more responsible and law-abiding. It does not give you license to shame and insult the survivor, which what you have done is despicable, horrific and unacceptable. And I would rather that the case be registered, he also be put behind bars.
Well, here's where we are, and I have to wrap this up right now, but this is not the last we have of this conversation. There are two organizations or establishments here that have completely failed the women of India. And I see this nun and this sister as a woman of India. And if there was any doubt for those people on Twitter as which side of this conversation I am on, let me make it very, very clear. I'm always on the side of the women. Always on the side of the women. And the side of the law. And the law is very, very clear here. This is what needs to happen. Franco, and I'm not going to call him bishop anymore. I don't care if the church decides to call him that. He's no longer a bishop to me. Needs to be arrested. He should have been arrested 77 days ago when this complaint first came up. He should be removed from his position of power, and it is atrocious that he has remained in this position of power for the last 77 days, exercising power over the victim and key witnesses in this particular case. The Catholic Church, to the Catholic Church in India, from the top to the very bottom. All faith, and I'm using this word carefully, that the people may have had in you is quickly eroding. You have in your care and custody women and children. You run a system that is dominated as by regulation by men. It is a recipe for disaster. You have a system that is a recipe for disaster. The least you can do, the very least you can do, is take action when you receive a complaint, is to remove this person from his position of power, is to ensure that you inform the police when you receive a complaint of a serious crime like this one. The Catholic Church is under fire right now all over the world for instances of sexual abuse of children and rape of women. And in this particular case, the victim is your own, and you have shown no sense of loyalty towards your own sister. Who should trust you, and why should we trust you? And the continued silence is shocking and extremely distressing. Let's remember one thing, that it doesn't matter what you wear, who you are, and how many people respect you, the law is the law and it's equal to all of us. That's how it works in this country. If someone is accused of rape, that person must be arrested. They must be presented before the court. They must be interrogated. The police have failed. The government of Kerala has failed. And most of all, the Catholic Church has failed. We stand with this nun here on Mirror Now, and we will demand justice for her and for all of her sisters, not only in this one particular case, but in the rules followed by the church from here onwards. Because what has happened so far is unfair to women and as such unacceptable. Thanks for watching.